All right. So it is the weekend, which means I get to sit here with my tea and my baggy clothes and with my glasses on and speak to you guys. So a few months ago, I went on a vacation to the islands in the Caribbean. And one of the islands I visited while on this vacation was called St. Lucia? I think it was St. Lucia. Right? Yeah. I might have it wrong. We'll go with that. So while I was on this vacation, I did not partake in the normal vacation activities. It was a cruise. There was a lot of drinking. There was a lot of free dopamine floating around. And seeing as I was on vacation, it was only right that I should partake in those things. But I did not. And I instead stuck to my routine, and I stayed exercising. I read a lot. I had a lot of time, so I read probably the most consistently I ever have. And I wrote a journal, which I I brought with me here. It's a cheap $1 notebook that I got from Dollar General. You can get them, anywhere really. Staples, any dollar store. They're cheap. Go and get yourself one. I mean, nowadays everybody wants to do everything through the notes on their phone, but to actually sit down and pick up a pencil is an extra commitment, and things aren't as simple as erasing, copy and pasting. So there's a lot more authenticity to it. So I encourage that. But this vacation was a real chance for me to think clearly and to consider where I'm at in my life and where I was at in my self-improvement journey. And I wrote a lot of very interesting things. So one of the main things that I wrote about in here, and I'll actually read it to you guys, is the last thing I wrote. Well, I wrote a lot of things that were kind of like it, but it says, come to terms with the constant feeling that something is missing from your life, to strengthen your gratitude for that which God has already allotted you, rather than seek fulfillment through expensive purchases, women, rich foods, drugs, etc. Think of times in the past you have tried seeking more from life by these means. And did it ever work? Did the pleasure ever last? No. The idea of a complete life is impossible. A fool is one who mindlessly consumes, believing this time it will complete my life. But once he gets his desires, he is left wanting more. So be content with an imperfect life. When I was on this vacation and I went to this island, it was one of many islands, but this one in particular, we met a man who was living up in the hills, and he was surrounded by jungle, and he spent a lot of his time, hiking through that jungle, and that was kind of his source of peace, where he can just get away from things. So he took us through the jungle, and I mean, the difference between that man and the people that you meet in the States, or I don't know where you are, but any country that has the privileges like we do, the people are just so upset. They're so lost. They have no purpose, and they constantly consume, and there's almost a void that they're trying to fill. And these people on this island live in rundown homes. Their food is basic. In most cases, they grow a farm, and that's their food source. But it's green, it's sunny, it's warm, and that's all they need. It puts a smile on their face. And I think, and it's pretty cliche, but we don't pay attention to the little things, right? I'm sure you've heard that a lot. And it's so true. It's so true. So when you're living, I'm guessing that most of the people watching this are in the same situation that I am, living in the United States with all these luxuries of the modern day. So, and by the way, we live better than medieval kings, yet we're probably the most miserable people that ever lived, group of people that ever lived. And don't think for a second that if you buy the most expensive car, if you have sex with the most beautiful woman, if you take the most powerful drug, that it will ever be enough to bring you peace. Not only peace, but fulfillment, permanent, for the rest of your life. Man, I hate when people say that they want happiness in life, because that statement is not true. When people say they want happiness, what they really want is no suffering. Happiness, the idea that of this blissful happiness that lasts forever, it's not possible in your time on earth. It's not possible. There's a saying, and I'm gonna get hate because I forgot who actually said it, and I don't want to say the wrong guy. But he said this. The quote goes, happiness. You find happiness when you stop searching for it. It goes something like that. You find happiness when you stop searching. And it's true. If you can build a disciplined and honorable life, if you can find purpose in the little things, or should I say the things that we don't usually, that we are blind to in this modern day, you will find you are more content. You will find peace. You will find, and well, you'll find happiness. But I don't really want to say that. You'll find peace, and you'll find that you're more content, which is a good, happy place to be in. We'll put it at that. I just don't think chasing happiness is the right way to go, and I don't think it's achievable. I think it's romanticized too much for what it is, and I think people need to start seeing the reality of what this experience is, this life is. So recap in a nutshell. Stop seeking happiness in externals. Stop. There is a whole nother side of life that is just cut out of that the modern world just cuts from our minds, blinds us to. And that is getting right with your soul and building just a connection with the world around you. And only you can find out where that connection begins. If I'm using my words correctly. I hope that made sense. But yeah, man. It was a humbling experience, that vacation. And anybody who's watching who's been to anywhere in the world that is more unfortunate than we are, I'll say, they know what I'm talking about. And I'd highly recommend people to seek an experience like that, because it changes you. It really gives you a new perspective. And it's dangerous. The modern world is very dangerous. It paints a very, what should I say, false image of what life is. So now, when I live where I live day to day, I'll see ungrateful people, and even myself, when I start to feel a little ungrateful, or I start to feel that I deserve more, it triggers that experience, and I think back on it, and I just remember how privileged I really am. So that's about it. I'll try not to go any longer, or I'll start going in circles if I haven't already. So yeah, I forgot about my tea, and it's getting cold now. So I am going to head out. I hope my words were clear. I hope my message was worth your time. I've been getting a lot of, well, for me, a lot of views lately. I've seen an increase in my views, and I hope whoever's watching is getting something out of these. So with that, I will see you guys next time.